Welcome back to Game On. Now, as we promised you, the last part of the show, something special, as we are joined by the TS Galaxy president, that being Tim Sukazi. Tim, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for bringing the drum along. I'll tell you why. In pre-season, I see you were getting ready for the new season as you were welcoming Augsburg onto the field, and you made some signings. You got some backup in the drumming department. Tell us more about that, because you weren't the only one playing the drum against Augsburg.
Yeah, man. Mr. Mapena, I won't believe it.
Yeah,
the guy who had accompanied me at the time, call him my acquaintance, is the FC Augsburg CEO.
Okay.
So he's the decision maker at Augsburg. It was through him that we were able to bring the club here to South Africa. And then, that tells you, that our culture, what we do, our unique approach is pretty much embraced and loved by the world, more especially the German Bundesliga. Yeah,
we certainly enjoyed seeing the addition in that regard and that walk-on. Now, let's firstly congratulate you for making the top 8 from last season. And the top 8, of course, got underway last weekend. Not the result you were looking for against Stellis. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, look, I had said, I think I'm on record to say that despite the win against FC Augsburg, the game against Stellis will be a completely different proposition. And I based that on the field. I said the field in Cape Town, the Stellenbosch pitch is a mess. It's horrible to play at. And I said it's small, it's bumpy. Little did I know that we'll find even a worse, pitch on the day. It was horrible. I was deeply disappointed when I read the match commissioner's report, Mr. Ibrahim, where he reports on everything and he concludes by saying that the field was playable. Playable by who? Amateurs, over 45s, or professional footballers? We have to respect ourselves. Yeah. We work very hard as football, to bring up our brand. But if we would have commissioners who see a pitch like that, brown, brown as in the mud, not even the color of the grass, and declares it playable, But then the two clubs had no choice there to comply. Yeah. Yes, it was the same pitch for both teams, but you'd appreciate the fact that Stellis, obviously, it's their home ground. Probably they're a lot more used to the conditions. It was always going to be to our disadvantage, more especially coming from Bombela, where our pitch is in pristine condition. You saw how we played against the German Bundesliga club. So, man, we had to do what we had to do on the day. We tried our best and we lost. It is what it is.
Now, over the last few seasons, you've had to let go of key players to bigger clubs, but have also been very impressive with some of the younger players that you brought into the squad, which obviously complements your scouting, and you did extremely well last season. But let's talk about the difficulties of holding on to your players and still being able to compete if you're not able to hold on to the players in the fashion you did last season.
Yeah, look, it's not the easiest thing, obviously, to hold on into our best talent. The reason being that we are a club that has proven ability of improving players. Mind you, all the players that were sold to big teams are players that were there at TS Galaxy, prior to Coach Sriyad Ramovic coming on board. And I would attribute this success to him and his technical team, obviously. So, but then when big teams come for these players, at best, I think they put offers that you cannot refuse, and also you look at the interest of the players. They stand to earn the most. Probably the most they could earn in their careers. As a club that we are, we always obviously consider and apply the human spirit into our decision making in these kind of circumstances, and we let the players go. But then the difficulty is to replace them. It's not easy. It's not the easiest thing to replace a professional football player. They're not just walking around the streets, such that you just find them any day, any time. No, you have to find players of a certain standard, given the high standard of our league. But then we have, again, been able to infuse our youth brigade into our main team. Risky as it is, the youngsters with them, the graph is always like this. It's not constant. It changes depending on matches. It takes time for them to adapt. It's a risk that sometimes you are left with no choice but to take. I think our young stars have come up well. If coming to mind the likes of Mike Sebelebele, that's come off. Yes, also to Ditejane, Samugelo Kabini, Macbeth Mahlangu at the back, and now Libone Siema. So these youngsters, all of them, they're 22 and below. And they seem to be having the ability to carry the team, but still they would need one or two quite experienced players. I'm sure we're not done in the market. We're still gonna go into the market because the season is long. And but you don't want the transfer window to close, and then you are into the season, then you don't have a good replacement.
I'm glad you mentioned going into the market,
Yes.
because there'll be some that'll still be wondering, what is the situation with regards to Galaxy and the ban, the transfer ban? If you could just update those
Yes.
that may not be in the know.
Absolutely. Look, it is as simple as this. The ban is due to be lifted or has been lifted as I'm sitting here. I haven't gotten the notification. But then, it's one of those unfortunate situations where Quand, as I had explained in various platforms, the player never played for us, never kicked the ball. It is what it is. Sometimes you burn your fingers in these type of things, and we're not the only club. I think all clubs or most of the clubs in our league table have experienced such. So it was our turn. We learn as we go, isn't it?
Well, Tim Sukazi, thank you so much for your time. We are thankful for your presence and the value you add on to South African football. Good luck for the upcoming season, bro. Well, unfortunately, we have come to the end of the show. Then a fun ending to the show it is. Thank you very much to Tim Sukazi, not forgetting Jace Kosana and Shane McGregor, as well as you at home. Now, before we go, something a little special for you, and just ending off the show. As you know, Hollywood Best does go a little bit extra in giving back to the community and finding legends of the game to work with. They lately have been involved with the Siyabonga Sangweni Youth Festival. Let's find out more about that. And until next week, it's click, click, bang.
Former Orlando Pirates and Bafana defender Siyabonga Sangweni was one of the best PSL defenders of his generation. Since retirement, Nzimbi has been active with youth development through the Siyabonga Sangweni Foundation. At the end of June, the foundation hosted its annual Siyabonga Sangweni Youth Month Festival in Nzimbi's home village of Dondota, near Empangeni in KZN. Youngsters from the village and surrounding communities competed in a 3-day tournament, fittingly in the Siyabonga Sangweni Sports Complex.
Kwesifiso sami esikhulu ukuthi one day ube ne-facility efana nale, kodwa-ke umkhandlu or i-province wangisurprise ukuthi le ground le ngoba ngayilicela bazongisponsorisha lona, bazokugamba ngegama lami.
Recognizing the impact this tournament will have on the local youth, Hollywood Bets joined forces with Sangweni by becoming one of the sponsors of the festival.
Siyabonga Sangweni has defied the odds, coming from the dusty streets of Dondota, but Sangweni made it. So he has given hope to so many children who come from a poor, disadvantaged background. So that's why we said we cannot afford to miss this opportunity of partnering with Siyabonga Sangweni.
Sangweni lending his name to the festival brings scouts into these areas, giving local youngsters hope that they can aspire to greater heights in football, an opportunity most of them may never otherwise have.
Kusho ukukhulu mfethu, kusho ukukhulu kukancane lokho okwenzakalayo njengoba ngishilo plus endaweni zasemakhaya.
We are watching good football, and there are some players that I've noticed, and I wish I could have in my team for the coming season.
For me personally, I think it's a good thing that they're showing interest in some of the guys in the rural areas.
Sibonge nakuthi Siyabonga Sangweni ukuthi since bekedlala esigabeni esikhulayo akazange ayikhohle indawo yangakubo nokuthi ethuthukise intsha yangakubo ezemidlalo.
The two teams that made the finals were FIFA FC and Sangweni United, the team coached by Nzimbi himself. In the end, and perhaps fittingly, Sangweni United emerged victorious, putting the cherry on top of a very successful tournament hosted by the Siyabonga Sangweni Foundation.
I'm very happy and very proud of the guys. Without them, we weren't going to achieve this. I think the unity made it possible for us.
The ground in Elisha elivuliwe labizwa ngoSiyabonga Sangweni complex. Yathathwa iSangweni United.